Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another Chain Fusion Live. I'm your host, Kyle Langham from Definity, and I'm really excited because I'm bringing a phenomenal artist, Hito Val, who is the artist behind Journey to Chain Fusion. We're going to dive deep into that collection and learn more about. My hope is learn more about Chain Fusion and what that term means, but also really kind of explore the themes that Hito explored with this collection. I do want to give some credit as well as the artist behind IC Bucks, a true ICP OG, and Wagme Dystopia. And so, Hito, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very grateful to be here with all of you, all the ICP public collectors and everyone. Very happy to be here.
Now, I'll give full disclosure. You and I got to work together on this project, and the I'll just say up front, the direction you took this project just blew my mind, and I was just so grateful to get to kind of go down this process, go down this journey with you. So I'm really excited for everyone else to learn about the thinking behind it.
Yeah, me too. We worked together very hard to make this a reality, and it's been a journey itself. So it comes full circle.
The journey
Yeah,
behind the journey.
yeah.
Um, I'll just give you've got already a lot of love in the comments. You've
Oh,
got
yeah, nice.
some requests for you to be president.
Oh, for sure.
Got a love from AM Ghost.
Thank
So
you.
your fan base has definitely
Thank you.
turned up. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, do you want to get started? You have this slide deck. Do you want me to pull up the slide deck?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Awesome. So yeah, let's just start with let's go all the way back to the beginning and walk us through the background.
Of course. Well, as mostly everyone knows, ordinals has been a big talk over the last year, and I was very early into ordinals, so I discovered it right when it came out, and I began experimenting with it. And one of my first pieces was this piece inspired by Dominic Williams, and also I wanted to mix this concept with the obviously the street art piece by Banksy, because I found the idea of ordinals very appealing to me. It was like a blank canvas that no one could take it down, so the idea of a wall just came up to me, and I was like, well, let's make some pieces, and I made this ICP thrower, I call it, and is one of the, as you can see, is one of the lowest number inscriptions is 36,000. And it's incredible because when I inscribe it, the fees were way lower than now, and it's been a process, but I wanted to just be the first. It was like when you are a graffiti artist and you want to be the first. I wanted to be the first, and so far is the first ICP theme piece on ordinals. So this was the beginning and the origin of this great story.
There's actually before we go, I just wanted to say this drawing of again with Banksy's flower thrower as like the background, like the idea of Dominic Williams kind of throwing ICP into the crypto space really caught my attention. I loved it. I love that it's like the first ICP themed ordinal on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yeah, I wanted to share this with all the viewers because it gives you perspective of this ordinal thing. Because when I inscribed it, it was 36,000. Okay, so now this being updated like last hour is 67 million inscriptions. So it's crazy. It's like it exploded because at that time it was more of an experiment like Bitcoin itself. People didn't know exactly what to expect, and I like to be always early with all these things. Same with ICP. I was one of the first ones making like a great full-on collection, And somewhat I made the connection. I wanted to share this because it gives you real perspective about the importance of ordinals and how all this came together.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, some of the 67 million is some journeys
Yeah,
granted.
yeah. Yeah, this is very important because this changed the whole strategy about inscribing. I remember when I inscribed it, it cost me like 30 something dollars for an image. Okay. So I started to think, should I make a collection? But what was the problem? The problem was that my collection had like more than 8,000. So if you make the math, it wasn't possible. And I started to think, well, let's see what can I do. And also, you need to be very careful with what you describe because depending on your art style or your approach, the price of the inscription itself, it can vary so much. So I keep thinking about that, and I myself collected ordinals and I was on top of that, but I learned it over this journey of the NFTs by itself that somewhat it makes sense to wait for the perfect opportunity, which is what I've done.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, then we come to April 2024. And I wanted to say that ordinals can be fun too, in the sense that I remember when I saw that Motoko Sentinels was launching, it really caught my attention because John is always like on the edge creating all these things, and I was like, "Dan, this can be fun." So I became like interested again, but also in this idea that you could use instead of Bitcoin, use the ICP side of Bitcoin. So we have all the advantage of ICP and all the advantage of Bitcoin, and also the fact that you could gain experience of this with playing with these ordinals and these sentinels. It was fun, and I say to myself, I need to do something about this.
I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do much worse than follow John Ball because he's definitely an innovator in the space. I love the homage. Also, we'll probably get to this.
Yeah, of course,
In
of course. I wanted to share because you will find that everything is connected in what I do. It could appear random, but there are connections everywhere. So this is very important. So keep an eye on this ordinal.
he shows up already. Here he is.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, Bob made a contest and I participated. And many people don't know that one of the reasons why IC Bucks came as an idea and everything was because I participated in a contest using a meme of Dominic Williams. So, it made sense for me to participate and pay homage to my own piece of Dominic, but also using the Motoko that I had. And I wanted to use the glitched Motoko too. So I made this. And honestly, I didn't knew if I was going to win, but I always like to participate in cool stuff, so it made sense, and I wanted to combine and create this piece.
Love it. I love it.
Here we go. Collection idea. And this is when we became we contacted and started talking about this idea of let's celebrate ICP anniversary in a cool way. And I thought that it made a lot of sense to make a collection to because everyone can celebrate their own way, of course, but what a better way to celebrate the anniversary than creating something that lives inside their own ecosystem, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and then chain fusion as well.
Yeah. Of course, you are one of the best people to present this idea of chain fusion, but it resonate like right away. Of course, with your input, everything improved, but I got it first sight because I think the phrase, the quote is "We are stronger together."
Yeah, I love that. That actually would be a great tagline for our industry, right? Where our industry's gotten into these tribal, this PvP mindset, but yet
Yeah.
that doesn't help. Like that's not helping our industry reach mass adoption. And so, I mean, chain fusion, of course, being all about tearing down the walls that separate blockchains without having to introduce additional security risks. And so you can have applications that can talk with Bitcoin and ICP and Ethereum and Solana in the near future. And that kind of like sums up chain fusion. And this collection was a perfect example where you have exactly what you're saying, where you have a direct tie-in with Bitcoin. You can inscribe your ordinal, your journey to chain fusion ordinal to Bitcoin, but also you have the ICP side of the dynamic NFT, which is interesting. Um,
Exactly. It's way better to show an example of a technology with something like this that people really can use. So they are like, okay, ordinals, but what? It's like, no, you have to try yourself the difference in speed and fees by using ICP ordinals that also are compatible with Bitcoin. It's not that you are using a worse version, it's like an improved version. And I wanted to create a collection that made sense visually and also conceptually. And the idea of Bitcoin holding everything together, but with this chain fusion message of let's get together in a positive way, because I like to think of crypto as a sport, but as a healthy sport where we are all these different teams, but if there is only one team, the sport doesn't is not enjoyable. So let's get together in a healthy competition and also contribution.
I really appreciate because I remember when I first reached out to you with this idea of of a collection. I think I reached out first and was like, "Well, we want to celebrate the Tritium milestone," which
Yeah.
so Definity updated its roadmap, and we're going back to the milestones, which is the right decision. And Tritium was the first one, and that was the Ethereum integration. So we said, let's do a chain fusion themed collection, and you quickly picked up like, well, the third anniversary is also kind of coinciding. And in my mind, I was like, well, yeah, there's all these different things. And I just to like preface, like as you start going into the collection, like you really tied in that third anniversary and the chain fusion narrative into like a coherent message. So I just wanted to make sure you got credit for
Yeah,
bringing
thank
the
you.
clarity to what I was basically just, here's a bunch of just ideas and stuff, and you brought it into like something that made a lot of sense.
Thank you. I appreciate. Yeah, this is something I want to mention because many people think that it's all chance and luck, and but no, there is hard work behind all of this, and everyone made their part. You did your part. Definitely did your part. Bob also did their part. The deadline was very tight, so we had to really work together to come up with this, because many people don't realize all the work that goes behind something like this. You can try yourself and you'll find that it's not easy, but it's very challenging in a good way also. And I think that my experience with NFTs from all these years came out on top, and I was able to improve and also have like a better sense of let's get rid of this or that, and about the cohesiveness. I'm very proud of the way we ended up like mixing everything and creating a great package.
Awesome. Yeah, the timeline was tight. I
Yeah.
remember. I mean, I got messages from you all hours of the day. So I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure if you slept during this time period
No,
at
no,
all.
no. I didn't, but it was worth it because in the end, It was a journey, the creative process, and I think it's very important. I became very inspired by this same fusion thing because it's the same way. It's like you keep connecting all these dots, so it made a lot of sense. It was like, oh, this makes sense, and I will explain in the following slides how it all came together.
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, brainstorming time. Then, when you begin with a collection, you begin with low res images, different concepts, and then you have to decide. You have to take chances and see where it goes. I think as an artist, it's very important to be able to see how things can develop over time. So, one of the biggest challenge is to be you have to decide well, and it's not easy because if you don't choose well your design or artistic direction, then you will have a very big problem because the time is limited. So one of the reasons why I decided against this line is because even if I liked this idea, it wasn't cohesive enough, and it didn't work as a profile picture, which was something in the beginning. It was very clear to me. I want to create something that people from all over the world can come together and resonate with the time fusion. And when you see all this in profile picture, it just didn't work. You can move forward. You see, as you can see, the framing looks good when you are in a squares, but for profile pictures it doesn't work. And also, since we needed to share different messages, then I became with I came to this idea of, okay, let's keep it simple. Let's take DOM. Why I came with the DOM idea? Because I think whenever the talk is like, there's always DOM in the middle of everything ICP related. So I was like, it made sense as the centerpiece. And since he's a very creative person in his own field, I like this idea of portraying him like a graffiti artist. So
Yeah.
I came with this idea of Dom tagging all these messages. You see?
Yep. I loved it instantly. I mean, it really captures Dom's personality of an innovator, somebody who's kind of on the edge, and really kind of like somebody who's going to create the world he wants to see. Right. I think that that kind of
Exactly.
captures Dom very well.
Yeah. Okay, so now I had also this idea of using the original design of the ICP thrower, but making it even more my own. So I had this idea of ICP to the moon because obviously it's a common thing where everyone on Twitter and all the socials, they are always like resonating with this idea of ICP to the moon, and it made sense. It was like the correct evolution, and this was an aha moment. Why? Because the 3 year anniversary keep popping up on my timeline. So I was like 3 3 3 3, and I thought, why not portraying also the three and making it an important part of a visual part of the collection, because we are celebrating the 3 year. Okay, so what about this? I wanted to mix, like let's say like a pop art and a street art, because I wanted to make something that was visually appealing, but people who are not very into street art also could appreciate. So I began with this idea of the three number on top of some paint and some backgrounds, just to give the whole image some sense of cohesiveness. And if you move forward to the next slide, you see this looks like it could be hanging on an art gallery, because I wanted people to feel proud of the things that ICP has achieved, all these technical achievements and all these projects who keep working. And I wanted to people to remember it's been 3 years. It's not in vain, you know.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. I remember when you sent these over, and I was just thinking, like, wow, yeah, this really by like this is the base layer, and this really is like already certain phenomenal. Like, I
Yeah.
just love the especially the way you could play around with the different backgrounds and using the
Yeah.
three.
And I want to say also that it's not easy. One of the trickiest part about creating a great NFT collection is creating enough variety so people don't get bored. And I think one of my specialties is that because, as you can see, just by looking at the volume of my collections, people not only buy, they like to flip or collect their own thing. And that's a big achievement as an artist, that people really resonate with what you create.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, so now here was the idea is was let's mix this concept of the three, celebrating 3 years anniversary, and then done. So what do? We could make a steep reveal because when we launched IC bags, we made also a step reveal, and it was a very big success because it made sense. It was something that it made sense. And when I saw what John did with Sentinels, I was like, we could make our own version of that. Obviously, I think we nailed it with the reveal because we investigated how can we make this look cool in every step.
Hmm. Yeah, I love. I mean, I think if you had just stopped with the art, and you're going to go into like more detail of like how the
Yeah.
art kind of came together. But if you just stopped with the art, it was already a great collection. But then
Yeah.
you added on top of it the reveal, which just added this whole layer of mystery to everyone.
Yeah, yeah,
That
that's it. I love this idea of mystery in art because I think nowadays, even with crypto Twitter and all that, people have short-term memory. So I like to reward people that really pay attention. And I think one of the coolest part of NFTs and all this crypto related to art is the fact that you can update the art. I
Mhm.
think it's very great. It's like you have your own canvas in your house, and then you come a day later and you see that it has evolved, that it makes you more engaging.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I'm looking through the comments right now, and I know AM Ghost is saying that was a great decision. VS also agrees. It was joyful. Just a new way to engage with it. And then
Yeah,
this back
also
here.
this. Yeah, also this. The idea that it made sense also that you could like freeze your ordinal and inscribe as it is. It's very cool because it makes every collector, it makes them an artist too, because they have this ability to just stop the progression. Maybe it resonates like that, and they want to keep it like that. And obviously respect it, and I'm very proud that people took their chance to participate in that way. I think it was also a very good idea because of the low fees, and all it was very easy to the whole process.
Yeah, actually, that's a good opportunity to talk about the fees. And for a collection with as much variety as this
Yeah.
collection has, the fees can become extremely expensive for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I know Bob put in a lot of work for rolling out a new standard that they call BitGen, which
Mm.
basically meant we pre-inscribed all of the assets, all of the layers, and then that way, when the actual inscription of a single ordinal happened, it could be done at basically the cost of like a Bitcoin transaction. So really made it
Yeah.
a lot cheaper. But I loved this. I loved how people reacted. Right, you saw I don't know, it was like 60 people took the
Yeah.
base layer, where it's just the three, and
Yeah.
inscribed
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
they did that even knowing like, okay, there's more coming, but I like the way this looks now, or I think there might be some rarity in the fact that you only have this small window of
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that?
I think it's very important because they create their own realities. Like, okay, market can do market things, but I like this and I like it as it is right now. And I also want to point something out. Like you said, the fees when creating an ordinal collection is like a vital thing. And it affects the whole process because you can think, oh, I want to make this or that in Bitcoin, but you have to understand that Bitcoin has its own advantage, but ICP has its own advantage too. So what does this mean? When I create my own collection on ICP, I don't need to be thinking about all this. And
Mhm.
with Bitcoin, it was a very hard challenge, but Bob was very helpful, and it became a part of the creative process. Like, how can we make this balance between quality and affordability? Because if not, you can test yourself how much will cost to inscribe something like this. And I think there is beauty into it because there comes creativity as a visual artist but also as a programmer, and
Mhm.
we come together and create something like this.
Yeah, you and Bob, I saw a lot of the communications going back and forth,
Yeah,
and
of course.
it was just clear you guys were moving, your visions aligned really well, and you were just moving in a lockstep direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay,
walk through
so
the layers. Yeah.
yeah, so I wanted to use an actual sample of the collection uh, and the reveal process because I wanted a step reveal, but not a two-step, and I wanted to make like move through the weeks. So I started experimented with this, and I wanted that every step made sense as itself, so people could inscribe any of those steps and it will be completely fine. But this is very tricky because with when you create a collection with all these different traits, it has to make sense. And
Mhm.
you can say enough times that everything is connected, so you have to really pay attention to all these little details.
Yeah, I love it. Do you want to go into each layer now, or you want
Yeah,
to?
yeah. Move forward because I
Oh,
explained
okay.
it. Okay, so here is like you can see visually how the step process was laid on. Then move to the next slide. Okay, each NFT is composed of 8 layers. Okay, and the first one is the background. There are 54 different backgrounds in the collection.
Okay.
Then paint, I wanted to give this idea of that you can mix a mix between traditional and digital art. So all this paint that you can see in these ordinals is real paint that I put into real paper, then I scan and put into it.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize that that's how you did
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
I always wonder about like, because there's one thing to paint in physical, like
yeah,
on paper or on a
yeah.
medium, but on a computer, that's a different thing, right? So
Yeah, it's completely different. I like to mix both things. I like to use the advantage of everything. That's why I use ICP for NFTs too. It's like you have to take advantage of what you are working and then push it forward.
awesome. Pull up another great comment by AM Ghost, who talks about his favorite is the one with your autograph.
Ah,
Um, And then he also asked, "What's your fave, guys?" So I'll just say, as you're watching this, if you post I'm not sure actually if images will come through on my comment feed, but let's see if it will. Post your favorite, and I'll pull them up here as we're talking. Love
of
to
course.
see. I'd love to see what people thought was like just the right aesthetic look.
Yeah, it's very interesting because you never know what's going to catch up, in the sense that
Mhm.
you have your own. Everyone has their own taste, and you can have your favorite, but someone else can come with them, and you can tell them that yours is better than theirs. That's the beauty of NFTs. Everyone is happy, you know.
Yep, yep. All right, so 54 backgrounds, 24 paints, and then the number three.
Yeah, and of course the three. I wanted a big three number, that was clear. But I also like this idea of doing also in some iterations of the NFT, you can see that some elements are not visible, but that's fine too, because that happens in real art. And I like to keep it like that. There were nine different. Then integration, this was like the hardest part of all, because with chain fusion we have ICP and all these different chains, and how can we portray all these chains in a meaningful way? And I had to basically redo all their logos because they didn't fit or suit our aesthetic and what we were looking for. So I had to remake everything, and there are 30 different integrations, and some are more common than others, but I wanted to give each element the right importance, and integration was one of the more important.
Yeah, this was probably one of my favorite parts because again, it just covered the scope of all the integrations we have now, and then we even did a little peek into the future. There's like
Exactly.
Solana was on there, which is not live today, but will be live pretty probably by certainly by the end of this year. So a little peek
No,
into
but
the
I
future.
think it's beautiful. Yeah, no, I think it's beautiful, this idea that you can. Okay, NFTs. The good part about this is like these are ordinal. So we inscribe this on Bitcoin, and what does this mean? Is that we put this, and no one can tell us that we weren't right, in the sense that this is it. You can go there, and the lead is like it's beautiful that we were able to hint all these things in a meaningful way.
Yep, I love it.
Then rings around, this was more of a visual thing, just to create some kind of variety, but the circle is very powerful also. It goes very well with everything.
Yep, did well with the PFP as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously Dom, this was very tricky because I wanted to create DOMs that look good, whether they were like rares or commons. So it wasn't easy, but I think I nailed it. And something that many people may have not realized yet, even maybe don't you, Kylie, is that if you look close on Dom's spray paint,
Mhm.
you will see that it has my initials, and every NFT has my initials, Ejido Val, EB. You see?
Yep, I love that. Actually, I
That's
had not picked up on that. That's amazing. I've looked at these
yeah.
images a million times. I can't believe I missed that.
No, but that's the beauty of my collections. I like to create things that people keep discovering over and over. And with DOMs, obviously, I wanted to create more rarities. So I wanted to use this idea of Gold DOM, Alien Tech DOM, like playing with all these memes that keep popping on my timeline, but making it, I wanted a collection that looked fresh and was clean, positive, also energetic. I think I was able to create something that no one can tell that there's no passion behind, because even with the lines and everything, like it has some energy and some weight.
Yeah, I love it. I love kind of going back. There's a theme that you've touched on multiple times about the fact that these are ordinals.
Yeah,
Um, and one thing I like to stress to people, the way I think about Bitcoin in general is that I call it the forever database. It's
Exactly.
of all the databases that exist in the world today, whether it's like an Oracle database or a SQL database or somewhere, Bitcoin is probably going to outlast them all just because of its decentralized nature and the incentive structure to keep it running. And so there's something very powerful about anything that's inscribed onto Bitcoin, just knowing that it's going to survive. It's a piece of digital data that's going to survive the longest. And so, like a good
Exactly.
example is that I inscribed at this point, it was probably 6 months ago or 9 months ago. I inscribed my wedding date. So if
Ah, wow.
you can actually find my wife and my name and my wedding date,
Nice.
only because it was for like $8, I put my history, like something that's really important to me, will live forever. And on that same note, like having Dom
Yeah.
on Bitcoin just felt like it had to happen. I know at one point we were talking back and forth about, do we need to inscribe these things to Bitcoin? Like, how should we handle this?
Yeah.
And I think it was Bob who said Dom needs to be on Bitcoin, like just
Yeah,
full
no,
stop. That made the
yeah,
decision for us.
obviously. Yeah, no, it was the right thing to do. And also, combined with this, with all these milestones and the 3 year anniversary, it was like a worth effort. It
Mhm.
wasn't like something random. If you think about this, it's like, this is it. Everything clicked together. And I think people sometimes, it just takes more time for them to realize how all these things have clicked together, creating this not only a great collection, it's a piece of history, because
Mhm.
it's ICP, it's 3 years, it's done, it's all these chains. It's like I can't think myself of an ICP supporter or believer that don't hold one of these just for the collectible thing. Is like you are collecting a piece of history. It's not a random NFT. There are many thoughts, hundreds, thousands of hours behind this collection, and I'm glad that many people are starting to catch up and they are discovering new things every day.
Love it. Then what about this layer here?
Of course, quotes. This was tricky in the sense that we had to find all the quotes that were applicable to all these different things, and I'm very happy because I like it. This idea of Dom tagging and putting all these messages that could be mixed with everything, and I'm very proud. It made a lot of sense. And every time I see one of these, I'm like, I wouldn't change, like, I wouldn't move this 1 millimeter over or below. No, it's perfect for me.
There's a great symmetry where you have on the left you have the integrations, so it's like
Yeah,
that's part of chain fusion, is like what chains are we integrating with. But then like
exactly.
to have on the right the actual like features, like this is more the why we do the integration, right? And so I know
Exactly.
there's things
Yeah.
like multi-chain governance, chain abstraction, multi-chain wallets, like a lot of those cool features that are only possible with chain fusion
Yeah.
is cool.
Obviously, the ICP logo, because everyone around here loves ICP, and I think it's beautiful to have like all these ICP logos inscribed on Bitcoin. I think it makes a lot of sense. Like if you think about this, I began with ordinals making this dumb piece with the ICP logo. Then 1 year later, I end up making this beautiful collection with ICP logos all over. And of course, ICP logo, I made three different because for me, I like the logo by itself, but obviously, hardcore collectors, they like gold, silver, and all that, and it made sense, so I came up with it.
Awesome. Is this combination an actual, did this actually mint out, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
specific
It is.
combination
Yeah,
here?
yeah, 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 yeah. I like to show samples of real pieces because I think many people like to talk about things they are not doing and all that, but I like to show things I've done, and we've done this, and I'm very proud. So why not?
Awesome. Yeah, because this is the ICP Maxi one where you
Yeah,
have ICP background, the integrations, the ICP, and then
yeah,
obviously the gold and multicolored shirt. It's
yeah, yeah,
such a great example.
yeah. And obviously, the variety is very important when creating a collection, and that what makes people really engage with it. And one of the reasons why I got into NFTs in the first place was the ability of mixing all these different layers, creating outcomes that I can't even imagine. It's like I put all the things like I like to make this analogy of making it's like cooking. You put all these ingredients and then you start cooking and come out with all these different things that even surprise me. And I love seeing them. And every day I discover like a new combination I like. And I think the secret to the success of a beautiful NFT collection is variety. And it's something that is not easy to achieve. It's very hard. As an artist, in order to create something like this, you have to have your own visual vocabulary, and that's something that you can't learn in a month. You have to really work over and over the years, and then you come up with something like this.
One of the things I appreciated working with you is again, it was a very tight deadline, and you did not need to be brought up to speed on Chain Fusion or on ICP in general. You've been around the ecosystem for so long, and you've clearly studied it so well that, I mean, a lot of these themes you were just coming out like, and there's actually a few times where like you said a certain framing for Chain Fusion or for ICP
Yeah.
where I was like, actually that's even better than how I describe it. So like, just like that really helped played into this collection for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate. Obviously, the idea of all the images working as circles too, because with this collection, I think the social aspect is very important because it's a celebration of ICP and chain fusion. So I wanted everyone to be able to put them into their profile and represent themselves. And it's beautiful because many people right away they got the idea, and it's been taken into consideration since the start of the creative process, as is something you can see yourself how everything makes sense, like in a square or circle. It makes sense. It just clicks all together.
Yeah. Now um
Obviously,
the
yeah.
collection's not done yet either, right? There's still a reveal left. Did you want to go into detail on that, or do you want to keep it a mystery?
Uh, well, let's see. There's one slide that
Okay.
uh, may reveal something. Uh, well, one of the things that I really like about ICP and ordinals together is the ability of this reveal step process. Okay, and I've seen people who literally sold their ordinals right away, and they didn't know that there were some very special ordinals that other collectors really appreciate. And I like this idea of people really knowing what they want. So the rarities were very taken very seriously in this collection, and if you really explore the rarities, you will find that even if the more common, uh, they are beautiful by itself, but it's incredible how people without knowing this rare, they get it. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is the rarest, it's great.
Yeah, that is fun to watch. People figure it out really quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's a sixth sense almost for them.
Yeah. Okay. This is here's the thing. I know there are some math, very good people at math in ICP. You can do your math. Maybe there's something left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of the number of possibilities, I mean, just going through one of each of these,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
It's crazy. It's like I have it written somewhere, but it is hundreds of thousands, millions. It's like there are 156 different elements uh, as of right now. Okay,
Okay, yeah. As of right now,
okay.
I like that. Dot, dot.
Lord brainstorming. Okay, here's the thing. When we were working on this, I like this idea of this is something I learned from filmmakers and the storyboard thing. They put all these things on their wall, and then they come with these ideas and how everything clicks together, and with all these narratives and with a chain fusion I became inspired while working on it, so I keep doing these things and coming with the lore, and it's something that there may be something with it too.
Yeah, I loved seeing this. You know, I loved how you worked in, you know, the moon in this one. This one,
Yeah,
I guess, is a throw to the what do they call it in Vegas? The big sphere.
exactly. Yeah, it's like I wanted to create all these narratives together, but in the that makes sense. It's not random.
Yeah,
There's a meaning behind everything. You can see that all the, for example, all the motocos I use in my collection are a real homage to motocos because they actually exist. And there is a reason also I want to say why I use this my own motoko for the one of the rarest traits in the collection, and it's because even it's not the rarest of the Sentinel collection, it really resonates with me, and I love it, and I wanted to pay the mass. And I think it's very important to give this message out that if you like it, you don't need anyone else to tell you that it's cool. You don't need that. You can enjoy it, and I love it. So I wanted to pay the mass to John's work, also because I think what he made with Sentinels was very important for because it proved that ICP and Bitcoin ordinals could work together in a fun way. So it yeah,
I love it. Is that this one here? Is your
yeah,
favorite? I love
yeah.
this green one down here. You, I don't think you knew this, but this is probably my. This is it's definitely one of my top two favorites. This green guy down
Oh,
here. So
really?
you even got one of my favorites in there as well.
Ah, cool.
Unknowingly. I love. I don't
Nice.
know if everyone could see the little
Oh yeah.
comment Bob you gave
The
there as well.
that's an homage to Bitcoin to Quantum Cats, and that one may be owned by very famous person in the ecosystem, right? Yeah, many things like this. For example, in that same image, there is like an icy box on the left down.
Where
Uh, yeah,
right here.
right there. That's a bullies icy bags,
I
icy bag. Yeah,
you know, I minted a lot of icy bucks, and I
nice.
remember that fun. And this is something that really speaks to me is when you have an NFT or an ordinal, having a decision to make as the owner. Like only you
Yeah,
get to make that decision. Like in this collection, the decision to inscribe at any given point. But having that ability, and I remember when I minted icy bucks, you would get it as a wallet,
yeah,
right? A nice wallet, and then you had the
exactly,
choice at some point to open up the wallet and see what was inside. And
exactly.
just that decision of like, do I open or not? Like, there's some wallets that I kind of was like, this is actually really a cool looking wallet.
Yeah, a cool
I don't know
looking
that I want
wallet.
to lose it. Like, what if there's
Yeah,
something common inside?
yeah. No, it's like this sense of participation and taking chances because that's something I've been through all my life and all my artistic careers. I took a lot of chance to come here. And I wanted to give people like the same sense of you are your own. You need to take your chances, and you have to support what you believe in. Don't let anyone food you out of your own bags or NFTs, crypto, or whatever.
Love it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So then,
Uh,
okay, journey.
Obviously, here are some facts about the collection, and very important, fair distribution. What does this mean? Everyone could mint basically these ordinals. There were no whitelists. Anyone could go there and mint their own ordinal, and mint was only 7 cents. So it was beautiful because Definity made this effort to celebrate with everyone. And people should support that. And they supported that, as you can see, because it got minted out and then it started to clean up. But it was very important. And I think it was a very nice gesture from Definity to give us like this fair mint.
Yeah, I loved it. We did the for some clarity, we did the 7 cent mint because honestly, we just wanted to make it so that people had to have CKBTC. And it
No,
was
no, but
the
it's free. That well, 7 cents. If you think 7 cents is of it doesn't. It's free. Okay,
yep.
7 cents for me is like, but yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, no, I understand where you come from with that. Yeah,
Yeah, and it was awesome to see it get minted out. This is actually, just for context, this is a picture of a display that was at the Definity headquarters during the third anniversary. So this aired during the lunch period. So as people kind of like congregated after eating lunch, they
nice.
were invited to scan and claim, along with everyone online who could also
Yeah,
claim around then. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you have the cost of 99 sats down there in the
yeah,
bottom. There's something about 99 that just felt right to just kind of use
yeah. No,
that.
it's a multiple of three too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, here is the most important achievement for this collection for me is that people that I don't even follow, or not for any reasons. It's just that sometimes you find people that don't follow you yet, and they were like having one of these NFTs as their profile picture, and that's as a success because they are portraying their love for ICP, but also that means they liked the art too. So I'm very proud of that.
Did you get I can't remember if in the slide deck there's anything that says hashtag IC3.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's a funny story too. If you can move forward.
Oh, very next slide. I should have just kept on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, yeah. The collection went viral. You can check yourself just by searching for these hashtags. You will see that all people came together, and people who I haven't talked any time or even ever, they went out and they started using this chain fusion hashtag, and also the IC3 three hashtag was an invention from Dance, who is a very great supporter and a very good DJ and a very important member of our community. And I love that close people have all these good ideas, and I was like, for sure, I'm going to use it because it's really easy to remember. So he began putting this IC3. It just took off, and everyone started sharing with that hashtag too. So it's great. All the community coming together is beautiful.
Yeah, I loved just seeing how it just naturally evolved, and how, I mean, again, it comes back to that idea of just people related to the collection in a very real, tangible way. So
Yeah,
for me, it's been awesome, just kind of seeing how NFTs can become almost like a focal point for a community to kind of like rally around. Like every community needs something that they like, a common cultural experience and how
Exactly.
NFTs can kind of serve that purpose.
Yeah, and in this case, for example, I wanted to create something that even if you don't like me as a person, which can happen,
I don't know.
you
Nobody. That's not true for
well,
anyone.
well, no, no, but it's something that is like above me. It's a collection that is like the common thing. And when I talk about community on ICP, I mean this. It's like let's make something that everyone can enjoy, and I think we were very successful with this. And if you move to the next slide, you will see that people from all over the world, they started to share their own collection. And they one thing I love it about this is that people started to look at connections with other types of art, even their own ordinals or their own art, and coming with all these connections and engaging, but in an organic way. I found out that the best way to get real engagement is through organic. These are real people. No one got paid for sharing this. They came out themselves with it, which is something I'm very grateful to also.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, this has been like a highlight of like the last month and a half for me is
Exactly.
seeing my X timeline with all these
Yeah.
great images. I mean, just yeah, just even getting to see some of these pictures, like this would have caught my eye of just the paint background. I've been like, oh, I didn't even see that in the marketplace. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
As you can see, people from all over the world is and all different backgrounds. It's not just NFT collectors. There are real artists. There are investors on ICP. There are also people who are big into other chains too, and they saw this and they saw a good message and they wanted to get behind.
Dan's is sporting the other. I said there's two
Yeah,
Motoko Sentinels that are my favorite. This guy's the
yeah.
other one.
He,
These are
he's the one. He's the one who came with the IC3 hashtag.
Ah, yes, yeah,
Yeah,
perfect, perfect.
yeah,
I mean, just I
yeah,
again, kind of coming back to that of just I would see like all of these get posted. Like here's a great example with the Bitcoin full background,
yeah.
and I don't know, like even I got to see I feel very blessed to have gotten to see the process that produced this. And
Thank
then
you.
even at the end, I'm still like, oh, like this color combination just looks like the white three combined with the Bitcoin on the outside, like that's just so phenomenal. And there's something that
Yeah.
triggers in you where you're like, I want to experience it more and more and more. So
Yeah, that's great. I want to say also that it was very, very fun to see other artists. Like, for example, Rob, he's an NFT artist, and he came with his own gifts and own fan art for the collection. And I think that's something beautiful because you create something that people find inspiring, and I'm inspired by them too. So
yeah.
it's like this idea of connecting, but in a positive manner.
Yeah, I love it. I will say, like this whole experience, I know within I like it's kind of like opened my eyes to just like the power of like engaging in community through NFTs. So I think you'll start to see like this collection, you'll start to see the Sentinels, actually all things probably Motoko because that is like an ICP
Yeah, of course.
mascot. You're going to start to see it hopefully pop up more often within like Definity things, within ICP events, just because there's this really caught my eye, like how well the community received this and just the passion that you got to see it kind of ignited from people. And it's very contagious. Like I feel very blessed to have been part of everything that's happened in the last month or two. So
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I think it's normal that with the amount of let's admit the amount of NFT scams around, it's important that there are a project like this which are real art and there are real people behind,
Mhm.
and these are the ones that really deserve the spotlight. And I'm very grateful for Definity for their trust, and also obviously to other artists like John, for example, with all his work. I think we have on ICP some of the best NFTs, not only on ICP but all chains. and it's something that is just a matter of time to for people to catch on and realize all these beautiful things and communities and all these people who really put the work in.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Absolutely
Yeah.
true.
Yep. Yeah, this is one of the nicest collectors out there. He's very always been supportive, and I love that it's not something that you go and tell them like, hey, let's I'm going to send you 10 ICP if you do this. No, no, they come with the on their own, and that's
Yeah,
great, and I'm super grateful, and I wanted to portray them there too here.
awesome.
Yeah, obviously, second highest volume in Bionic of all time, and I want to people to think twice about the volume because these ordinals are around $10 right now. So, what does this mean? This means that people really like collecting this, and they like to buy and sell these things, and obviously, I'm not mad at all being like second behind Motoko Sentinels because we are totally compatible. This is something many people don't get it right. You can be friends with all people. It does. I'm friends with John, and I'm happy for him, and I own his NFTs, and all these his people with my NFTs too is just it's cool. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
love it. The Sentinels had a head start, so
Yeah.
we'll see how time goes.
Obviously, another hint that the journey might not have ended yet. And I want to tell everyone something. I understand that as a collector, we we like to speculate and let's say I'm going to buy this because it's fully revealed or not. But I want to give importance to the whole journey and the experience of collecting. I want people to really put attention and really just enjoy their NFTs because I enjoyed creating them. So why not? You will take like days. It took me weeks, no months to create all of this. So why don't you enjoy them the same? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually it has been awesome. I like the Dom reveal. I felt like was like a pivotal moment, and just in terms
Yeah.
of like for myself of like I was really excited for everyone to realize that this collection had a Dom
Yeah.
and
Of course.
especially
Yeah.
Dom in like that again that you know that street artist the graffiti artist like portrayal was just very much like I think on brand
Yeah.
for what
eh,
Dom has done for the industry and then
You
um,
know, yeah, sorry. You know why good input because this made me think about something I already thought is the sense that I wanted to create a fresh collection, and I see them always like trying all these things, and with this curiosity and this openness to try all these new things. So when I was thinking about visual styles, the connection between the street artist and them made a lot of sense because I didn't want to portray him as just seriousness in a bad sense, you know.
mhm.
I wanted to portray in a cool way, but also in a positive manner, which is something I think we really achieved with the collection.
I think you did for sure.
Obviously, collection, where to find the collection, you can go to Bionic Marketplace, and it's very easy. You just go there and you log with your Google account or other easy login methods. Then you need to transfer some CKBTC, and then you can collect. And there is the full address for people if you want to check the collection.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, just to kind of piggyback on that,
Yeah.
because I think this is a key aspect of Chain Fusion. you mentioned that you have to have CKBTC to purchase this reserved order, or really anything on Bionic. And one of the cool things I think is Bionic and many other apps like Plug Wallet, the NNS front end app, they integrated the ability to convert Bitcoin into CKBTC. And that's like one of the key things about Chain Fusion is that the peg in and peg out needs to be permissionless, so that you're not reliant on one app or one single source of failure, but really anyone can facilitate the peg in and the peg out. And so like on Bionic, you have a Bitcoin wallet as well, and you can convert your Bitcoin into CKBTC. I think it takes 12 confirmations or 13 confirmations on the Bitcoin network, but then you have your CKBTC. And then if at any point, let's say you sell your ordinal and you want to take back your Bitcoin, it's easy to go from CKBTC back into Bitcoin. Again, just you're paying a Bitcoin network fee and you got your Bitcoin back. So key aspect of Fusion is that seamless ability to go from one currency to another.
And I want to say also that it's way easier than I thought in the beginning, because when I started hearing about this CKBTC, I was a little bit like curious, like how are they going to pull this off, and maybe a little bit hesitant, I will say. But then after trying, it was seamless, and I didn't have any problems. I remember with Sentinels, I was able to mint all that, and that's why when you contacted me about this collection, it wasn't something I was afraid, because I already used. So I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, it was. I had the feeling like you kind of knew I was going to reach out, or like you were just ready to go from day one, and it was
Well,
amazing.
I think it's good to be ready in the because things can go. You need to be open to good opportunities. That's something very important. People sometimes I failed on this myself in the past, like looking at the chart and became depressed and all that. But you create your own opportunities, and I could have spent all that time looking at the chart, but instead I created this and we became together, and it's been a great experience, and it's something I want to tell people, and I wish I was more able to make people like this concept of being open to these opportunities. Don't close yourself, like don't be close-minded. Try to remain open and take these chances, and always like build. Maybe you are not an artist, you are more a programmer, but I respect it the same. It's just it's easier to talk than work. So I will suggest people to do their own thing, because they will find all these different beautiful things about ICP and CKBTC, that there are people, real people behind this, working all day to be able us to collect all these things and enjoy. So it's important to be very grateful for them.
I love it. I love it. There's a comment here from Crypto Based saying the journey
Exactly.
is never ending, and that
And
kind of sums up what you're saying.
yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. The journey is never ending. Before I have to admit that I was solely focused in the end product, but now I want to enjoy the process too, and this been like super enjoyable. I can tell, because it wasn't like I need to do this only. It was a fun experience. And I think it shows, and that's why people really resonate with it, and they keep sharing. And obviously, there are some things left, and yeah, it's great.
I mean, there's actually there's even more beyond that of the journey is never ending, in the sense that, I mean, the Chain Fusion story is not
Exactly.
completely told yet. That's going to evolve over, at least certainly over the next 6 months, and then even more so into next year. I know from the Dfinity roadmap perspective, and there's no reason why Now just to be clear, we haven't talked about this before, so this isn't like planned or anything.
Mm.
But there is no reason why, like, the collection has to stop, right? Like
Of
you
course,
actually can continue to add layers, you can add new features and functionality. And
obviously.
maybe that's something maybe we should explore offline of like how to,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
want to keep this collection evolving, giving
of
people the
course.
ability to lock in place, obviously, as an inscription at
Yeah,
whenever they want. So
you know what I think is very important and we nailed is the fact that everyone could collect them at the start. There was no food possible in that regard, and that's beautiful because the beginning was I couldn't write a better beginning in the sense that with the timeline and everything was perfect. I was like, there are no problems. Everything like went smooth, and it was written somewhat like I like this idea of coming full circle. And if you think about these ordinal things, bionic, Bitcoin, ICP, how all everything fits together.
I love it. I love it. It would be actually, it would be kind of a great celebration for more milestones moving forward if we somehow facilitated that evolution. So it's maybe something for us to talk about offline.
Obviously.
Um, we got
Obviously, I think it's very important to be grateful, and I'm super grateful to everyone that collects my NFTs, even the ones that don't collect but show support or just by sharing or just their curiosity. I'm super grateful, and I wanted to give a special thanks for sure for Definity because I really appreciate they trusted me with with this project, and I'm super grateful for that. Obviously, you, Kylie, because it's been a pleasure working with you and just getting to know each other through the whole creative process. I think it's something to learn about how two people can come together with something like this and just getting to know each other through the whole process. Obviously, Bob Bodily from Bionic, he's been very helpful, and I really appreciate that he's been very professional. And obviously, we had our ups and downs like through the years, because but that's life, getting together in the end and working towards the future. And I'm very happy that he was super helpful. He made it happen. He was able to pull this step process reveal in a way that I couldn't myself do it. And I think that's very important. This message that it doesn't matter the background. You can be a programmer, an artist, a writer, but if we all come together with a positive message, it just all clicks and works, and you can see with this collection.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yep. Obviously, they follow me on X. I was going to put Twitter, but okay, let's call it X. Ejido Val, where you will find like my collections and just me posting about whatever I like. And obviously, there are other collections by me that I wanted to shout out. Icy Bugs and What Me Dystopian. Just feel free to follow. I think you will find many interesting pieces that I've done over the years, and that I think is very important that people really take their time and just enjoy their NFTs. I think that's key.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the end
Yeah,
of the
yeah, I
slide.
think so. Yeah,
I I did want to take the moment to just thank you, Ahito, because the getting to work with you was phenomenal. Your class
same.
act and very professional, but then also you provided the vision for a lot of this. Like I came with just a smattering of here's it has to do, let's do something with chain fusion, let's do something with third anniversary, and then you converted all that into just something phenomenal. So I did want to say thank you, and
Thank
even
you.
more so just thank you for your professionalism and working through, because uh it was just a pleasure. Every step of the process was just a pleasure, and that's not easy. That doesn't happen a lot when you have tight deadlines. and the stress that causes. So it was just a smart.
Yeah, I think is very beautiful how it all came together. Everyone know what they done. They we are know what place is ours. The and it just went smoothly, and yeah, I'm very grateful too. And I say it from heart because it was very important for me after all these years working on ICP NFTs that Definity really trusted me with some important project like this, and was able to deliver.
Oh, delivered beyond expectations for sure. I'll recommend you to anyone who is looking for an artist or anything, because you crushed it. So,
Thank you.
is there anything else that you wanted to end on in terms of, we covered so much.
Yeah, I think it's been a great conversation, and with the slides and everything. Obviously, I want to tell people that I will announce on Twitter three winners for three fusion ordinals. People who participated, I will share on Twitter after this ends. And just wanted to spread this positive message, and let's share the good parts, because there's no end on going on the bad. So let's keep a positive mindset, and just tag me in the collection. Everyone feel free to share their NFTs and tag me at Ejidoval, and I will gladly share your NFTs.
100%. Give Ahito a follow. Tag him on your awesome. Again, I want to see these. I'm not able to see it in our application here, but I know people are posting their favorites. So after this, I'm going to go over and check them out. I'm really excited to see what
Beautiful.
everyone's favorites were. But
Mhm.
Ahito, I just want to thank you so much for
Thank you.
uh, going on this journey with me,
Mm.
and the vision you brought into this process.
And only my last quote is, "Journey hasn't ended yet." Okay, so
Exactly.
keep your eyes open.
All right, ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen, this has been another Chain Fusion Live. You can expect actually a break from a little summer break. I myself, I'm going to take some time off, and we'll be back at it later in the summer for some more exploring all the great things that happen with Chain Fusion. So enjoy your next few weeks. Hito, I want to thank you again so much for coming on the show today, and I will see everyone in a few weeks. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.